Hello and welcome to the Best Today podcast. Today, let's get into it. Today, I want to do an entire episode based off one comment that I was tagged on Instagram, and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to try to stay as specific to this specific comment, because this episode and the comment could lead to 5 other podcast episodes that I could have talked about, and maybe I will at some point. So, I was on Instagram and noticed that someone tagged me on someone else's image, and it wasn't even on the person's comment who made the post. It was one of the commenters. Did I just confuse you? Basically, someone tagged me in the comment because they were telling the person, you need to check out Best Today podcast, Shantae Grant, she can help you with this. And they were sharing some of the things that I've taught. And of course, when my name was tagged, I went and read the comment. And this is what the person wrote under the comment to this post. It said, I feel guilt for working too much, then immediately trade guilt for not working enough. It's a trap. So I think the person who made the original Instagram post was asking people, like, what's a habit that you want to let go of? And this person's response was feeling guilty for working too much, then immediately trading that guilt for not working enough when they're not working, and feeling like it's all a trap. So today I want to talk about this because I have heard this sentiment, this statement reiterated many times in many ways, a lot from the people in my audience, and this guilt for working, and then this guilt when you're not working because you feel like you should be working. So that's what we're going to talk about today specifically. We're going to talk about this feeling of guilt for when you're working, and feeling of guilt when like you should be working when you're not working, or even the guilt of when you're working, you feel like you should be doing something else. I should be doing something in my home, or something with my family, or be with my friends. And then when you're with your friends, you're like, oh, I should be working. It's that feeling torn between multiple options, and feeling like wherever you are, you should be doing or be somewhere else. That's that tug I want to talk about today. And again, like I said, I could take that and then turn that into so many different places, but I'm going to keep it confined to the context of working because that's what this comment was about. But know that we can talk about this in many other areas. And if you have one in particular you want to talk about on the podcast, remember, you can always leave us a voicemail by going to the show notes. Today's show notes are besttodayguide.com/37. At the bottom, there's a button. You literally just press the button and talk into whatever device you're on, iPad, phone, computer, any type of device. If you press the button, talk into it and hit the button, it will send that message to us. Let's talk about it. But let's talk about this person's comment for the time being. Now, I'm not going to address the guilt directly. I've talked about guilt in old podcast episodes from the Business Life and Joy podcast. I'll link to one of those in the show notes to today's. And perhaps maybe I'll talk about it in a later podcast, but I really want to go beyond the whole guilt and get to the thing that I believe will uproot this feeling and this thought and give you a lot of freedom if you can connect to, or if you feel that power, if you feel what this person was writing, that tug of, oh, I feel like I should be working. Oh, I'm working too much. Oh, I should be doing this. If you've ever felt guilty for working or not working, I want to talk about that. And if you haven't, keep listening, because you can apply this, again, like I said, to many things. This lesson is really universal. But first things first, if we're going to talk about work, I want to be clear. This is not a work bashing podcast episode, or it never will be, because there is honor in work. Work can be very honorable. There's value in work. How we have to realize and understand and believe and know that work is one part of what we do. It's not even, for most people, the most important part, but it is a part of our lives. What we do is a part of our life. And for all of us, it has varying depths of meaningfulness. We're not all the same. I talked about that last week. Was it last week when I talked about, or wasn't last week? I talked about that in episode 35 when I talked about comparison. Like, we're not all the same. There is no one universal view of work. It's personal for each and every one of us. Someone does work that they're good at. They're really good at it, and they enjoy it enough to do it the days that they have to. And then they go on and they live their lives away from it. They don't love it, but they're good at it and they enjoy it. They don't hate it, but they're good at it and they enjoy it and they recognize it for what it is. It's one part of how they spend their time. That's it, right? There's somebody else who feels strongly called to the work that they do. And their work is one of the many things in many ways that allow them to fulfill their purpose, and their work has deep meaning for them. That's another someone. And there are a million different someone's with some different connection to their work. There's a range. There is no, this is how everyone should feel about work, or everyone should feel so deeply connected and feel like they're fulfilling their human life through their work. That's not real. It's not true, and it's not right. So understand first and foremost, as we talk about work, that there's a range here. The thing is, I want you to understand is that work isn't evil. Work isn't the enemy. Work can be honorable and is honorable. We need workers to function as a society. And here's a fun fact. As I'm talking to you right now, I am in fact working. Okay. So that's the first thing I want to be clear on. We're not about to make work be the monster. Now you can turn it into that, but that's your doing. Okay. So we understand that work is honorable and it can be honorable. However, we are more than the work that we do at home. We're more than the work we do at work. We're more than the work we do in our community. We're more than the work that we do anywhere. Okay. And we all do work of some sort. Even if you don't have a job where you go in and you're paid for doing a thing, there's work. You're human. I believe if you're listening to this, you are an adult human. We all work in some capacity, right? However, as I'm saying, work is not our entire lives, and it's likely not the most important part of your life. If we can start to wrap our minds around this and believe it, and this being that work isn't the sum total of who we are, it's the beginning of the solution to this problem that was discussed in this comment, this guilt for working too much, then guilt for not working enough. It's like there is no winning place. Where do you win there, right? You have to understand that that is a reflection of not allowing yourself to be where you are, who you are, where you are. Does that make sense? To be who you are, where you are. Here's what I mean. We're all more than one thing. You're not just a student. You're not just a parent. You're not just an employee. You're not just an employer. You're not just a volunteer. You're not just a friend. You're not just a daughter. You're not just a sister. You're not just a spouse. You are more than one thing. And at the core, all of them are a part of you. But you are right there at the core. And I need you to understand that you have to allow yourself to be who you are. And it's more than one thing. Or understanding that you get to be many things and to fulfill multiple roles that you get to choose. You choose, right? You choose. We all don't have the same list of what those things are. All of our lists are different. But you get to be the many things, roles, and you get to understand or define how each of those add value to your life and allow you to add value to someone else's life, to someone's community, to a customer, to the world. Understanding that is necessary to live peacefully in all the places where you dwell and spaces where you occupy, right? Understanding that you get to have multiple roles and understanding how those roles fulfill or add value to your life and also how it allows you to add value to other people is necessary to live peacefully in all those different places and roles and functions, okay? When you're working, work. Be there, be present. When you're with your friends, be there, be present, be a friend. When you're taking time for yourself, be there, be present for yourself. You get to see how each of these things are important to you and a part of you. You get to allow yourself to be more than one thing and honor the many facets of you and give yourself space and permission to be them. We're not going to say I'm a friend, so I'm here with my friends, but I'm also thinking about the 17 things I left on my desk. And, did I order pizza for the school function? Be present where you are and allow yourself to, I'm sitting here with my hand gesturing down, like sink into where, I feel like that's how you that's how you actually get the benefit of the thing, right? If I'm with my friends, it's because I understand the value that I derive from spending time with my friends. But the only way I can actually soak up all of that goodness and value is if I actually am opening all my pores up to that in that moment, in that space. If I am there with you, but not there with you, right? I'm there with you physically, but not there with you mentally, emotionally. I'm not receiving the benefit of my presence, and neither are you, right? Because I believe when you feel like I should be doing the thing over there, that's saying that this can't be something that matters too, right? The thing over there is the only thing that can matter. And then as soon as you get to the other place, you're going to do it again to yourself. Okay, so I'm going to get to the work I was worried about. And now you're thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't be in here so much, right? You're going to do it. You're going to bring that angst with you everywhere you go. And then you're at peace nowhere. You're at war everywhere where you are when you live this way, when you don't allow yourself to be fully who you are, where you are. You're not at peace because when you're at work, you're worried that you're working too much. So I'm not with my friends. I'm not with my family. I'm not with my blah, blah, blah. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. So I'm at war. Okay. Then I go do the thing I think I should be doing. I should be at work. I'm not doing this. I feel so much like, where is the peace? Where do you get, where really should you be? Maybe you don't even know where you should be because everywhere you go, you think you should be somewhere else, right? We got to deal with that. And what I'm telling you is the way we do that is first acknowledging there is not one answer. The answer isn't always be there or always be here. At Best Today, we exist to help women just like you be your best one today at a time. So each week on the podcast, we are going to highlight your stories and your voices. So let's see what's in the inbox today.
I'm so grateful for the Best Today company and Shantae's vision in action. I've been using the Best Today guide for over 6 months. I participated in Right Now Routine, and I'm a member of the Best Today community, and I'm so thankful for that community of support. The Best Today guide has been transformative in my life. We often hear or read or see inspirational words or go to a workshop, but then what happens? The Best Today guide in particular is that transformative tool that makes that everyday consistency happen. It's that practical daily tool to hold you accountable. You have to be willing to do the work. There is no magic pill or bullet that you can take or do, snap your fingers. You have to be willing to do the work. But Best Today and Shantae provide the guidance, the support, and the positive challenge to make a difference in your life. I've seen the consistency that I have been seeking and lacking for so long happen while using the Best Today guide. I'm moving my body every day. I have less pain, less stress. I have more time for myself. It's made my life happier. I have more satisfaction in my work and in my job and in my life. I am so very grateful and encourage anyone out there to utilize all the tools and resources that Best Today provides, in particular, the awesomeness of the Best Today guide.
Leah, today and every day, I am thankful for you. Leah is one, I want to say she's an OG Best Today guide user, Best Today customer. And just, it's a joy to be able to watch people continue to show up, not only for themselves, but for you. She continues to show up for the members and our membership, for herself, for me, for this company. And it's an honor to watch all of the good things unfold as she puts these tools and these resources that we've created to use. And they are openly and readily available for you. So if you would like to learn more about the Best Today guide, about our membership program, which when you order the Best Today guide, you get your first month in the membership for free. Y'all, it's the best deal on the planet right now. So learn more by going to besttodayguide.com to see inside the Best Today guide. Order yours today and get that first month free membership in our membership. Come and learn about our other programs. We have what you need to help you right where you are today. So go to besttodayguide.com. And Leah, thanks again for always being such a faithful customer and really just for for living out what this is what my best today looks like, one today at a time. We love you so much. I am a multifaceted person who has many layers, who have many roles, who have many things that I desire to do and be. And that's going to require me to be at different places. And when I'm at the one that I should be at the time I am there, the way I derive the benefit of being there and also give the benefit of being here is to be here and not to overthink that I should be somewhere. Because if you're not there in all respects, you're not there. And it's almost like a waste for you and anyone else involved. I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm being clear. Another thing that I need you to do is to go in and when I say go in, like in your mind, have a conversation with you, write this down if you're a journaler, and assess the value that you place on work. I need you to assess the value you place on work. And I talk about this and touch on this in the episode where I talk about the dangers of productivity, which I will link in the show notes. That's episode 25. But is it really the work that you value when you're like, oh, I should be at work? Is it because you really value work, or is it the way you value how you're perceived based on your work? Is it that you like being perceived as an overachiever or a hard worker, the girl who's always here? We can always count on Julie to be here all the time. She works all the time. We love you. Is it that? Is it really even the work that you value? Or is your value on the perception of you based on what you do? Because then we're getting to machine territory. And I talk about that in episode 25. We're no longer being humans. We're being machines. Because, you praise a machine, man, that's why everyone's like, oh, I'm going to go get this product. This product performs better. This thing is judged by its performance. It's why when I was in law school and my PC crashed on me, I said, I will never buy another one. And I have not. Everything is Apple. And I've never had a crash. Knock on some wood. Right? It's because I'm basing the value on performance. What you can do for me. Because you're a machine, but we're not. Okay. So I'm going to say that one more time. Is it the work that you really care about, and that's why you feel guilty when you're not doing it? Or is it the perception that people have of you based on your performance? If so, I want you to go back and listen. Actually, I want everyone to go back and listen to episode 25 if you haven't. We're going to link to it in the show notes, besttodayguide.com/37. But wherever you're listening to this, if you just go back to the number 25, you can also listen to it that way. So if you relate to this comment of, I feel guilty for working too much, then immediately guilty for not working enough, it's a trap. The comment that was left that I was tagged in, I want you to understand that you are more than a worker. You're many things. 2, you are not your work. Your work may be a reflection of a part of you, but you are not your work. Your value isn't derived from what you produce. Your paycheck may be, but your value is not. Okay. Number 3, I need you to get clear on what is of value to you outside of work. Number 4, I need you to ask yourself, what are the necessary boundaries for the various parts of you and your life in this season? Because also this question feels like there are no boundaries here. There's no, this is the time I have designated for this. So what is there to feel guilty about? I'm doing the thing I'm supposed to do within this boundary. And then I'm going to leave that boundary and walk into the other one. And I'm doing the thing here within this boundary. And then I'm going to leave this one and walk into the next one. And I don't feel guilty about anything, but that's just a whole nother episode. But now I am sitting here doing the thing in which I intended to do. This is why we live a life of intention, within this boundary. And so I feel no kind of ways about it because I'm doing exactly what I said I would be doing in this moment, in this place, within this boundary. Okay. Also, if you feel like you work too much, because that was the thing, I feel guilty for working too much, quote unquote. Let's take a sidebar, get away from my notes for a second. Too much. Someone else can't decide for you what too much is. Some people are lazy. And maybe you're not. And maybe what someone else tells you, that's too much. You get to decide what's too much for you. I heard my league say this. I'm not going to say it exactly how she said it, but she said, you're right. What I do might be too much for you because you're thinking about running my race with your legs. That's what she said. Right. sometimes people are putting, not sometimes, a lot of times people put their fears on you. They're telling, and this is what I talked about in the comparison episode, in episode 35. We not all the same. We're not all on the same assignment. We don't all have the same personalities. We don't have the same gifts, talents, equipment. Like we're not all the same. So make sure that this guilty for working quote unquote too much isn't because someone told you it's too much, but for you, it's not. Okay. The sidebar. Let me get back to my notes. Okay. So if you feel like you work too much, what are you going to do about that? If you feel that way, if that is and if that is fact, when we look at the data, and what is too much? There's too much feeling because I'm working outside of my hours that I'm being paid, because I'm doing more than what is asked of me. Like, you get to decide what too much is. But feeling guilty is not the solution to working too much, right? Let's pick something that brings a solution rather than perpetuating the problem. So if you feel that is the thing, you're working too much, okay, what are you going to do about that? One of those, as I mentioned, let's talk about some boundaries. But the takeaway here and the invitation that I want you to think through and have a conversation with me. Again, I love it when you all text us 404-737-1002 to talk about your response to the episode. And also when you record voicemails to leave messages about the episode, also love that. But the takeaway here is to stop letting the world determine what you value. Stop letting what the world values determine what you value. There's no book of here are the top 5 things everyone should value. I mean, I'm sure there's a blog post about it. And there are some things I would even say I believe most people should value these things. But guess what? I'm talking about from my experience, my perspective. You get to disagree, because what I live out is what reflects my values, and what I want for you is that the same, to reflect yours. No one else has to see the value in the things that matter to you either. So if you're looking for validation and applause and like, oh, that's good, I like your value list. No, then we're starting to get away from our values, right? No one else has to agree with your values. If you're looking for agreement from the world to live your life, you're not living your life. If you're looking for agreement from the world to live your life, you're not living your life. It's someone else's, because you're waiting for someone else to give you the approval or the stamp of agreement. So those are my thoughts. I don't remember the post. Maybe I'll try to find it and tag the person who wrote this in this episode, but it was enough for me to think of a conversation, to want to start a conversation here on the podcast and share this with you. I've been thinking a lot lately about this whole values, and I don't know how this will show up on the podcast, but just how what we value is so tainted by social media, television, media, just in general. And this is why I preach every single week, every single day. You have to get to know who you are and what you want, because otherwise you will be tossed and driven to and fro wanting everything you see. And really, it's not what you even want or need or for you, because like I said, episode 35, we are all not the same. We don't have the same. We haven't been given the same assignments. If everybody wanted to be, I don't know, the driver, we gonna need some passengers. We need passengers. We can't all be drivers. You know, if someone wanted to be the pencil tip, we need erasers. It's like, we are not the same. But anyway, I'm way past off notes. That's what I wanted to share with you. And I want you to go back and think through this when we're thinking about work, and you're having that struggle of feeling any type of way about being one place and thinking you should be another. Let's go back and look at that foundational work. Have I accepted that I am more than one thing, and giving yourself space to be that? And I see that in so many different iterations, but this one I want to talk about as it relates to work. Let's talk about it. Text me 404-737-1002, and then also leave me a voicemail. You can do that on our website by going to besttodayguide.com/37. In the show notes, we have it at the bottom of every episode show notes, so you can really leave it anywhere. And thank you so much for being present with me for this week's episode of the Best Today podcast. Until next time, remember that you are capable and worthy of being your best, one today at a time. And you already have everything you need to have everything you want. So go on and shout it out as you live it out. This is what my best today looks like. I'll talk to you again real soon. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Best Today podcast, you are going to love the Best Today Guide. Our Better Than a Planner guide teaches you how to get clear on what you want, identify your self-destructive habits and behaviors, and intentionally create space to prioritize yourself every single day. Don't go the journey to being your best one today at a time without the Best Today Guide. See inside its pages and order yours today at besttodayguide.com. Even better, when you order the Best Today Guide, we gift you with your first month free inside of the Best Today membership. So what are you waiting for? We're giving you everything you need to trade busy for intention. Go to besttodayguide.com and order yours today and join thousands of women across the globe proclaiming each day, "This is what my best today looks like."